How are you?
Not bad, not
Yeah?
bad. Not terrible jet lag.
I saw The Revenant yesterday, and I was kind of worried to see it because I can't say R's and V's very well. So I was concerned about
R's and
talking.
V's or
yeah, like the letter R, the letter V.
Revenant,
So
I
the
get it. Okay, got it.
Revenant was going to prove difficult for my radio
People
show.
have a tough time with that title,
Yeah.
But it's an interesting one and very pertinent to the movie.
But I saw it yesterday, and it's such an epic movie. Like it really like knocked me for six. It's really beautiful, but it's really brutal as well. There were bits where we were watching it in the screening room, sort of shielding our eyes and being like, "Oh, this felt really, really real." And this is not just me saying this. We have some scientific facts, like science. agree that this is horrendous to watch. So apparently the audience of this movie are captivated and terrified for 75 minutes of the film, which
That's
is like
awesome.
which is like a record.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, there are 15 fight or flight moments in this movie.
That's wonderful.
And there are 14 moments where your heart pounds unnecessarily bad.
What else could you want in a cinematic experience?
That's good. Usually there's like 14. Basically, we did the maths, and there's a terrifying moment where you get the fear about every 10 minutes.
There's something about the way, for example, the bear attack, why people are talking so much about this bear attack is because it almost becomes like virtual reality in a way. You almost feel like a small animal scurrying around watching man versus beast. You feel the breath of the bear, you feel the sweat, the blood. It like arises other senses.
Yeah.
And I always say, to me, what engages people more than anything in a film going experience is tension. If you can create tension, and whatever the narrative is, whatever kind of genre, if you can create tension for the audience on an ongoing basis, you've got an exciting film, and this certainly does that.
Yeah, you are tense from like beginning to end.
Yeah.
And I always know it's a good movie if I feel really weird when I leave. Like if I feel like really weird for like a few hours afterwards, that's when I know it's a good film.
I agree.
And you
I
like
agree.
go to the pub and you're like a weirdo because of something you've just watched.
Because you've been submerged in a different reality.
It made me weird. I'm still
That's good to
slightly
hear.
weird today. But you go through a lot, like you say, the bear attack. That feels really, really real. What for you was the most harrowing moment of making this movie? Because you ate real, what was it, bison liver? How was that?
Well, it wasn't awesome. No, it wasn't. It didn't taste awesome. That's
Didn't taste
for
great.
sure. My reaction is right up there on screen. But look, we knew what we signed up for with this movie. I remember reading the screenplay and wondering how the hell we're going to pull off some of these sequences. But harrowing, I don't know. It's hard for me to have an answer for that because this has all been the whole experience. We're there for 9 months in sub-zero temperatures. It was all this crazy blur. You know, it was. But for us, it just became about getting through the day, honestly.
Right.
There were so many different sequences that they did. They all kind of blurred together. I can't really pinpoint one as being the one that was the most difficult even, because overall the whole film was just unlike anything I've ever done. And each day was a challenge.
It made me feel stronger this morning, Leo, because we get up early for the show. So I have to walk my dog at like 5:30, and it's dark and it's cold, and I got proper reverent fur coat on, hoodie, like I went out there and I was like, if Leo can do this for 9 months, I can do 10 minutes in the park with a dog. Can you talk to me about something great that I heard about called the octopus?
Yeah.
Tell everyone about the octopus, because this sounds like we all need this winter.
Well, yeah, I mean, basically, it kind of became like some sort of vaudeville slapstick routine because there was like 4 guys that had to lug this giant heater around through the snow and trip over each other with this thing called the octopus. Because honestly, all of us actors, we got so freezing cold at the end of each and every take.
Yeah.
We had to get blasted with hot air to not get hypothermia.
Yeah.
And my character specifically, I'm like crawling around with my hands in the snow, getting in and out of rivers and things of that nature. So, again, people try to ask me about funny stories in this movie. I'm hard pressed to come out with like slapstick funny moments.
I nearly died.
But I suppose
It was hilarious.
But I suppose like the guys coming up with this giant heater called the octopus blasting with hot air is somewhat maybe worth half a chuckle. I don't know.
I think it's mildly funny.
Mildly.
I need an
I agree.
octopus.
It's less than mildly
I
funny.
need an octopus for January, man. Now, after doing this, do you feel like you could survive in the wild? Like, if we dropped you out there, do you pick up stuff where you're like, do you know what, I can do this? I'm like a manly man now. I can survive.
I'm certainly better than I was before, but I'd be hard pressed to do anything that this guy did. I mean, my God, no way. I mean, we actually had great advisors on set. There was so little that I could research about this time period because there was no historians, there was no photographers, there's no writers. So it's basically journals of fur trappers, like real mountain men. It's their daily logs of what they had to do each and every day, how they survived in the elements. And there are men that still live this nostalgic life. Like there's people that reenact the Civil War, the Revolution.
Yeah, I love those
These guys, like literally, it's a spirituality to them. They're communion with nature. They're connected with nature, and they really live with furs and the basic elements and flints and things like that. And so these were the closest things that we had to understanding what these men went through, and they were incredibly beneficial. But I still don't think I could.
You could do it. I like to think I could be outdoorsy.
Yeah, it's so much more difficult.
Like in my head,
I mean,
like,
even
I could
food.
live outside.
You look there and there's no food.
No.
I mean, I don't know how you catch an animal. You need some basic things there. You can't do it just with just your hands.
Yeah, you can't.
Guns
we
and
definitely.
traps.
I'd die out there. Are you like surprised or excited? Like, how does it feel with the reaction that this movie's got? Because everywhere I go, everyone's talking about it. And of course, you won the Golden Globe, by the way. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Like, how does it feel when you've gone through something like that's hard like this, and it's a dedication, and then everyone's in rapturous applause everywhere you go?
It feels great, man.
Yeah.
It really does. I mean, when you really put your heart and soul and time into something, and a film that I will say is not something that we get to see coming out of Hollywood very often. This is an epic art film. It really is. It's an experimental art film, but done on a massive epic scale. I think that certainly studios are used to making very safe bets, things that are going to bring in profits for their shareholders. So to have something, not only do as good as it's been doing in the box office, but to get, having this movie be recognized by our peers, it does feel amazing, because I've never been a part of a film this experimental. I mean, we rehearsed all day long and shot this whole thing in natural light for just an hour and a half every single day. So everything about this movie was taking a big chance. So I'm happy.
So when you go to like the Golden Globes or something like that, do you know, are there whispers before? They're like, Leo, you've got this. You go up on camera 3, you're going to go up there, pick the award up, or is it a complete surprise when you
It's always a complete surprise. You hear whispers about who's predicted about this and that, but you never know. It's like it is in other people's hands.
Yeah.
All you do, the one reassuring thing about all this award season stuff is that you have absolutely no control over the outcome. You've done the work. It's like people ask you, are you nervous to go to your premiere? I'm like, I don't know what I could be nervous about. I did everything already.
Yeah.
It's as long as you're on set and you give it your all, that's all you could ask for.
Yeah, obviously we've got to talk about the Oscar, because I imagine this is all that anyone is talking to you about. How would it feel to win this? And is this something that you think about when you're out there and you're in the cold and you're making it, and you're like, I better get like 10 awards for this because I'm freezing?
No, you never really. It's interesting to make movies. It almost takes me like 10 years to reflect on whether a movie's good, bad, or
really?
terrible.
Right.
Because you're so immersed in the moment. You're so sort of clouded by the experience that you had, the moments that you had on set. You never get that reflection.
Yeah.
I can now look at movies I've done 10 years ago with real judgment. So whether people think something's award worthy, whether it gets good or bad reviews, it's all this crazy blur because you're so attached to the process of making a movie. So as far as awards are concerned, like I said, it's something that, the work is done, and I'm too attached to the movie to really understand or know what's worthy of awards or not.
Yeah. Well, I think you should get